What's up guys? Episode 9 here at Verus Engineering on the time attack build. Before we get into any of the build, I figure we could elaborate on some of the things that we've said in the past. There's been some miscommunication here. So basically, the car makes 1,700 pounds of downforce with our aero kit. We had a goal of 2,000 pounds and we didn't reach that. Now sometimes when you're building stuff, you don't always reach all your goals. And especially with something that's as budgeted as this is, we didn't reach our goal of 2,000 pounds. And it is definitely possible this car will make 2,000 pounds at a later date or at a lower ride height, but at the current ride height and our current aero kit, 1,700 pounds is all we could do. Previously to us getting the kit, or the car only made about 100 to 150 pounds of downforce. And we're basing that off of the vehicle's body. So we basically can pull apart the car's pieces, and we found that the car's body creates 700 pounds of lift, and then we could estimate based off of the size of the splitter and the rear wing what the car actually produced. So now moving into episode 9 of the time attack build, we basically did a bunch of front splitter work. We welded some front splitter mounts, and we've been working on the underbody, basically trying to create a flat underbody. So let's get to it. As far as the front underbody, we're using 6mm thick Alumilite. It's light, it's stiff, and it's pretty strong. We're actually really happy with how this is turning out. The bolts holes that we used are actually all OEM locations. We didn't have to drill any holes into the body. We did open a few of the holes to then install riv nuts into them, but otherwise it's an OEM-esque install similar to our trans tunnel covers. The only thing that's not OEM-esque, I guess you could say, is this bracket right here, which if you have a fuel tank, which most people do, you couldn't install this, but because Jeremy removed the fuel tank and put a fuel cell in the trunk, we were able to add a bracket and the mount, which I do not believe you could bridge that gap otherwise without this bracket and it still be stiff. Obviously moving rearward, as soon as we start getting more finished, we will actually be able to bolt the Alumilite panel to our rear diffuser, and that should be happening probably this week as well. What's up, guys? Dude!
You're using that as a selfie.
It's a selfie stick!
You mean your air guitar?
Keep working so it looks like
That's what I'm doing!
Shit. All right, cool.
I need to uncap my Sharpie.
All right, guys, so we are working on the flat underbody. Man, Bun Mike, working on some thin sheet aluminum that's gonna go in the fender. But you can kind of get an idea of what we have going on for the underbody. Just basically a big piece of Alumilite that bolts to factory holes. To ensure that the Alumilite does not actually crush, which is very easy because it's corrugated plastic on the inside with thin aluminum on the outside, we designed these little bushings, I guess. And you can actually see they have a 6mm thick boss, so that as you tighten it, you're not actually crushing the Alumilite. You will basically, you're only tightening the aluminum. So these are actually really nice, light, low profile for nice aero, all that jazz. So moving to the front, we have our front splitter. We have some short videos or clips of basically various building processes on the front splitter, but this is where it sits right now. You probably shouldn't see this. This will be in episode 10, but we're trying to get things done. Basically, we have 2 weeks left. We have our 3 diffusers per side installed, and those are cut. They were cut to size and everything like that. The steel brackets were all welded during this week, and they actually turned out really well, really strong. We had to fabricate some of the pieces as they went together. A lot of work, a lot of effort went into this kit as is. All right, we are building the front of the splitter. This is the leading edge, which will add some rigidity as well as improve airflow around the front splitter. Currently I'm just going to tack it in place, ensure that it fits, and then I'll fully weld the tubes, and then we'll probably have to grind it. So this is one of those things, do as I say, don't do as I do. Clean the aluminum. It welds a lot nicer. Alright guys, we have tacked the front leading edge of the splitter. It is aluminum tubing, so we tacked it on the front splitter to ensure that it actually fits. Now we're going to pull it off and actually fully weld it. Then we'll actually metal finish it. So that'll be what this short clip's about. Alright, so we have officially tacked the splitter mount together. We're going to pull it all off and basically weld it now. But currently the splitter is installed and it is holding up its own weight. Granted, it's going to need to hold up a lot more than that, but it's holding up its own weight. Baby steps. Alright, so we have our front splitter here. Bun Mike has actually scuffed it up so that we can bond our fiberglass diffusers in place. We're going to be doing that later today. Paul's over here working on screwing shit up apparently. Working on the flat underbody, which we ordered some hardware for earlier this week. Bun Mike's assisting. He doesn't have his man bun on though. Last night we ended up cutting and notching the diffusers so that they properly fit. We'll clean those up with alcohol during the bond process, and then we'll rivet them on. And we'll get a video time lapse of that going on, which will be shown here shortly. All right, guys, we have our diffusers installed, sort of. I'm going to show you basically the workflow of installing the diffusers onto the splitter. It's going to use a bunch of rivets, basically. Pretty simple overall.
Later dreams get lost, feel the temperature rise. Baby, tell me one more beautiful lie. One touch and I ignite, like a starship speeding into the night. You and I get lost in the infinite light. Baby, tell me one more beautiful lie. One touch and I ignite.
We're working on bonding the front lip onto the splitter. Probably shouldn't be super close there. Basically just squirting some goop in there, and then we'll put the tube in there.
Diamonds are forever, but all we need is just tonight. A monumental tremors that can freeze the speed of light. Just like particles that's falling from heaven, all over the stars. Hear you calling for me. Hear you calling me home.
The other thing we did, so we plumbed the lines, BMRS. If you're looking for some awesome, high quality lines, BMRS, highly recommend. But oil lines were plumbed. The other one goes, you can possibly see it right there, and then that one actually swoops around and goes behind the radiator, and then it obviously goes to the oil cooler adapter plate. We got the fuel cell in Friday so that we could actually start the car up on Saturday, and I believe we're seeing about 20 to 25 psi less pressure, which is definitely a good sign. That means that this oil cooler is flowing and not becoming a restriction like the previous unit. So we're really happy and excited to see how this does on track. The uprights are at powder right now, along with the other wing pieces, so that's why they're not on right now. But we got the fuel cell in, like I said, on Friday. everything is plumbed and running as it should. The car did start on Saturday. Trying to wait to get all the intercooler piping back together before letting it run and bleeding the full system, but that's where we're at for this week. We're getting to work on episode 10 obviously already. All right guys, that wraps up episode 9. For episode 10, we're gonna finish up the splitter. We're gonna do the end plates. You're gonna see some more mounting because ultimately the splitter wasn't as strong as we were hoping, but it definitely is now, so we're definitely happy about that. We're going to finish up maybe the fender liners in episode 10, probably not. That'll probably be episode 11. Underbody hopefully will be finished as well, so we'll see a full flat floor, and then we'll begin working on mounting the flat floor to the diffuser, as well as maybe some quick latches in the rear deck lid. Hope you enjoyed episode 9. Subscribe. See you next week.